is when they look at you and say, okay, you were there, but you're talking like you're here. Mm-hmm. See, I can talk like I hear. Mm-hmm. You can talk like you're there. Your partner LeBron can talk like, but certain people, so it's not about critiquing. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you're under me.
Hey， 大家好，这里是 Jeff， 一个今晚打篮球的频道。今天要跟大家分享的影片是Shaquille 在 JJ 的 Podcast 节目上被问到为何总是针对Dwight 我的辛辣话题，还有侠客作为历史级别中锋又是如何看待别人嘴炮他这件事。影片的一开始 ，JJ 感觉就有点被侠客的回答给吓到了。
There's a couple guys I think that you've been pretty consistent calling out. One is Dwight. I'm just curious, like why? Why Dwight? Like what?
And what's your definition of calling out?
I just feel like there are certain times where it'll be like out of the blue, and you'll call him out. Like Ben Simmons is the other guy that I think you've done a couple times, and I'm not saying you don't have the right to call people out. I just feel like even going back to when I played with Dwight, it feels like there's this like it's not rivalry's not the right word. And I know I got to be careful about the words I use in front of you.
Yes, you do. How long have you known me?
I met you in 2006. Yeah.
Have I always been a nice guy to you?
Been a great guy to me.
So would you say I'm a nice guy?
Yeah.
Would you say I'm playing most of the times when I say certain things?
Yeah.
And would you think that if you're not sensitive, you can't handle it?
Okay.
There's your answer. You got to understand about me. When I'm serious, the world won't know. It'll just be me and you.
Oh, interesting.
You see what I'm saying? I have to like you to be able to say something about you. And I actually like Dwight. I am the current president of the Big Man Alliance. I like all big men who have the opportunity to overthrow me. And sometimes I will add fuel to the fire to see what type of people they are. And if I say something and you respond sensitively, that shows me you don't have it.
Okay.
And a lot of times I just be playing. So am I serious when I talk about these guys? No, it's fun. I'm a fun guy.
Yeah.
Because again, when it's serious, you'll know it's serious because it'll be something else added to that article. So, and then when I do call these guys out, I try to keep it as factual as possible. Like when I was critiquing Ben Simmons, and I throw this word out a lot, and you have this badge. It's a G14 classification badge. For example, if I'm trying to shoot a jumper and I'm scoring a lot of points, but my form is not like it should be, you have G14 classification as a shooter that says, Shaq, tuck your elbow in, follow through, leave it up. So I think when it comes to being a big guy or an NBA player or great, I have G14 classification to say certain things. A lot of times if I am getting personal, my panel will say, you're getting a little too personal. So I just try to keep it a lot of factual. So it all started with Dwight when I said he needs to average 28-10. You want to be dominant, you want to call yourself Superman. I know this for a fact. 28-10, when you get to the playoffs, add 5 to your PPG. And that's how you become a dominant big man. So a lot of times when I say some people get sensitive, and if you get sensitive, it's not really my problem, but it's never nothing personal with me.
这里欧尼有提到的 G14 等级是来自电影《尖峰时刻》的一个梗，表示获得专业领域上成就的象征，也可以理解为只有侠客自己才知道的机密等级分类。接着 JJ 又问到 Perkins 前阵子在嘴炮侠客和八爵士根本没在看比赛这件事。
You brought up the G14 classification, which I've heard you talk about before, and I've always found it very fascinating. Something came up recently where Perk said something about you guys not watching games, and you guys had a whole response to it. But the part that kind of stood out to me, and I wanted to like ask you about this because I'm genuinely curious about this because I am not a Hall of Famer. I'm not a Hall of Fame basketball player. I was never an All-Star, I was never an All-NBA guy. And I don't know whether it was you or Charles, but you were like, he's talking about 2 Hall of Famers, right? I'm just curious, like when you are in that seat, not even just at TNT, but when you are in that seat of being a Hall of Famer, of being an all-time great, like, what is your tolerance level for people critiquing you?
I think, well, as a player, I think a lot of players get mad at a lot of people. You talk up here, but you play down here. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when Charles talks about championships, I ask him, how do you know? How do you know?
Yeah.
What you went to 1, 2? How do you know? So when certain people talk, you know, when like you talk about but you didn't apply it to your game. So are you believable? And that's why some guys get mad when certain people say things. So when I say G14 classification, I know what it's like Joel Embiid to get double teamed. I know what it's like Victor Wembanyama to be the number 1 pick and have it. Like, I know I can talk about this. Other guys that don't have that experience, you can't talk. You know what it's like to be a great shooter. Yeah. You know what it's like down by 1, you got to hit that shot. You know what it's like coming off that screen full speed. You were in regimented. Y'all know what it's like. So I think people have problems with us is when they look at you and say, okay, you were there, but you're talking like you're here. Mm-hmm. See, I can talk like I hear. Mm-hmm. You can talk like you're there. Your partner LeBron can talk like, but certain people. So it's not about critiquing. It's like, what are you talking about? Like you're under me. So for you to say and sit, I don't watch games because we have different critiques, and this is based off of he likes the Knicks and I don't like the Knicks. So when you say something, and again, I ain't sensitive. I'm gonna say something back. I'm coming out with a mixtape. I don't get sensitive and whine and do all that. You say stuff like it, but again, it ain't nothing personal. Like I'm 50 years old. I ain't trying to do all that. But you say something, I'm gonna say something. And it's all part of the ecosystem of this thing we call marketing. It's all fun and games. But again, I think regular people get upset when they hear people, and I'm like, if I can question,
do you view me as a regular person? Because I mean, in terms of the NBA history, I'm a very regular player.
No, but you have G14 classification in certain areas. You are one of the best shooters in NBA history. So you can talk about shooting. You can even talk about playing. You can even talk about certain pressures of being a shooter. I respect you for that. But once you start talking about dominant big man, I'm going to be like,
Dude, I gave you all the love possible on your podcast.
You did, but I'm just saying, so like and then, even with me, like you don't hear me talking about people's free throws, right? You just don't, and you will never. Like that's, I don't have, like I can't say, oh, tuck your bin, you need, no, shut the hell up. So. I mean, but
I want to ask you about the free throws. I do have a question about, because you referenced the thing with Chuck and the championships or whatever, and I came in the NBA in 2006 and played in the finals in 2009. That was Kobe won that year with Powell. They won again the next year.
Y'all lost in the finals?
What?
Y'all lost in the finals?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, Orlando's never won a championship. 0-2 in the finals. You know about that?
Yeah, I do know about that. At least we got a game. Yeah, exactly.
At least we got a game.
I said it first, so you couldn't say it.
But and now that I've like lived in this media world, I'm I lived through it as a player, particularly with some of my peers. Chris Paul comes to mind. Like the whole discourse and conversation about rings and championships and the culture around that. Did that exist in the 90s when you played?
Yes, it did.
Did you feel the pressure of that? Particularly, I would assume, particularly when you went to LA?
I did. And me and Kareem talked about this. So the stuff I'm doing to Dwight, they did to me. I thought it was like a rite of passage. No, Kareem and Wilt.
Oh, wow.
I'm in a restaurant one time. Wilt's right there. He didn't say nothing to me. So when I first got to LA, I was putting up big numbers. But we were getting swept. So they asked Kareem and said, man, Shaq's, he'll be a Laker great, boom, boom, boom. And Kareem stops the guy and says, is he really that great? They get swept all the time and they haven't won a championship. Now, I want to go off, but that's cap. He has G14 classification. So I got to suck it up and take it like a man and say, but me being the type of person I am, I'm going to make you shut up, Kareem. Can't say nothing to you now because you're absolutely correct. Yeah, Shaq's putting up good numbers, but if his team got swept 6 times, is he really a great player? I got to eat that. So now I got to turn up. And then, you win one. Bet you can't win another one. Then you win 2. Oh, you know, the other Lakers did 3 people, and then you win another one, and then you start to get the respect. But, you know, so the stuff that I'm doing is the stuff that was done to me. But if you're the right type of person with the right type of mentality, it should be used as motivation.
Yeah.
Because that's how I see it.